Let me explain something to you. I am a vintage, mass-marketed children's toy from the 80s. Standing right in front of you, holding a very sharp scalpel. I'm turning human again? If I don't get out of this body soon, I'm screwed. You little shit! Do you know what you've done?
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
I like a little killing now and then. What's wrong with that?
Hey, buddy, welcome back to Citizen Frame. We're here to close out our Chucky retrospectives. You know, it's kind of funny. I hated some of these films. And same thing with like the Friday 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and so forth. Anytime we end a retrospective, we kind of feel sad.
Well, I mean, I would say that I'm sort of a bit chuckied out at the moment because I have went full on with it. You know, I mean, including the series, which we'll sort of touch on later on as well. So I'm sort of chuckied out. But yes, I'm sad as well to say goodbye to the little guy. But I would say that there's none of them, well, yet. We'll get to it soon enough, that I would actually hate out of the original series. You know, that whatever there is, 7 films or whatever. I think some are better than all. I think 2's probably the weakest, actually. I have an appreciation for Bride and Seed. I know you hated Seed.
Are you going through the whole thing now? What are you doing here? Are we doing the intro?
No, I'm just saying.
I'm
just saying. You know,
Jesus Christ! You got that, everyone? All right. Well, thanks for joining us. And he just revealed that he hated the reboot in that sentence as well. So thank you. Well, see you next week. Fucker.
Right.
All
anyway.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna start with the Cult of Chucky, and then we'll end with Child's Play 2017. And Don Mancini's back. This direct-to-video again. Universal is back because they're pretty happy with the success of the last one with the sister company that put it out for them. So they decided to jump on board and give this immediately to Netflix. That was the plan. You know what? I get so pissed when I hear leakage and footage getting leaked and shit. You know, these guys work hard on their films, whether you like the movies or not. I'm not a big fan of Mancini's past work. We talked about that with The Bride and The Curse. No, The Seed and The Bride. But I can certainly appreciate the effort that goes into films. And it pisses me off when these guys work hard and some fucking asshole in his mom's basement gets a copy of it, don't know how, through YouTube or Twitter, and then they leak it on both sites. And that's what kind of hurt this film a bit. And
yeah,
so
no, Don Mancini and Alex Vincent and the like were all pretty pissed, which is completely understandable, obviously.
Yeah, Don Mancini has said to the geniuses who leaked Cult of Chucky and tweeted about it, congrats. Not only are you terrible people, now Universal lawyers know who you are. Oh, I love it. Even Alex Vincent says there's no logic behind it. It was coming on Netflix. You get to see it anyway.
Yes.
You know, why ruin the, the moment? But yeah, those are those little so-called fanboys that love their cinema. They like to take it down a notch when they have a chance. So,
well, the worst ones are the ones that actually go into the cinema. It's usually in somewhere like Malaysia or somewhere with their fucking mobile phone and video it on the cinema screen and then release it online. I mean that was always a thing anyway, even with like...
Yeah, but you know what? Whoever watches those are fans of cinema.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of get...
I mean, they're used. Nobody... I actually think that's dead now. Unless you're in like, yeah, you're right, third world country that does them or whatever. But the most part...
I get people being excited about the release and not being able to wait and stuff and busting to see it as soon as possible. But at the same time, a lot of this stuff is completely unwatchable anyway, with a shaky phone, basically.
Yeah, guy jacking off in the back row.
Yeah, exactly. You see people walking past and stuff and, people talking in the background. It's
and popcorn.
Pointless. Exactly.
My God, Godzilla's eating popcorn. This is amazing. All right, so we're here at the Cult of Chucky. This is 4 years later. We got some of the cast back. We got Fiona Dorff as Nika, Brad Dourif as Chuck, Alex Vincent is back as Andy, Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany, and Jennifer Tilly. And then we got Doc Foley, Nurse Carlos, Angela, and Claire, and Michael. So
I would say that I would say as well, other returning cast members, Kyle's back and a sort of a post-credit scene.
I'm going to laugh. That's the stupidest fucking cameo of all time.
Yeah, but I would say as well, the guy who plays Malcolm, multiple Malcolm in this, also played the cop in the previous film. So he did. Yeah.
I don't care about that.
It's not a returning character, but a returning actor.
Obviously your favorite of all time. You just said that. Wow. Wow. So we open up, and I do like the fact we open up, and Annie's on a date, and they're having the gun argument. You know, she's more of a pacifist, yada, 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 where he's obviously for the gun, not for guns because of what he went through to protect himself. And then she goes, "What's your problem?" "Well, a few years ago, my babysitter was killed, along with my teacher and a caseworker and 37 other people." Yeah. And she pretty much cussed the date off right there.
I would say, though, that this is a much darker version of Andy. I mean, he went to a very dark place here. He's basically, a complete... You can understand the gun thing for his protection, but I mean, he's become like one of the bad guys from Hostel. He likes to indulge in a bit of torturing, so he does. This is quite dark.
This is the dark. This is until we get to the reboot. This is the darkest of the Chuckies. He's not really played for laughs, this one. I really don't believe that. I do. You got Jennifer Tilly, who's got a very small cameo kind of in it, and then that's it. Everything else is quite uncomfortable. And they were definitely, especially with Brad Dourif, his connection, and his daughter in it now was going for a One Who Flew the Cuckoo's Nest horror kind of feel.
Yeah, it's a psych ward subgenre film, essentially. There's been plenty of them over the years, including in the 70s and stuff. But while there is some good jokes in there, especially one-liners from Chucky, it is quite a grim tone.
And starting with Andy, how he's become, when we reintroduced him in the last scene of Curse, we do have that transition where he was this young kid as we knew him. Then he went to military school. Then military school to what we were introduced to in the last act of Curse. And it shows his progression. Even when he tells his date, gun, you have the right to bear arms, yada, yada, yada. Then he rants off the body count. And then you go to his house. It's the whole place is full of carnage. It's full of weapons that cause the carnage. But most importantly, it's got animal heads everywhere.
Yeah.
So he's become this hunter also. So killing's become his lifestyle. And not to mention keeping the head of the Chucky that he blew off at the end of Curse and torturing it.
Yeah, it's just dark stuff. Like, this guy's, if this was real life, this is a dark turn, but it's sort of understandable as well, because if you were tormented all your life by a serial killer in the body of a killer doll, you'd probably go to some strange places as well.
Well, I don't know if he's as psychotic as we were making it sound, just because...
He's not psychotic.
I don't... I just think he's more obsessive. I think he's more obsessed than he is anything else.
He's damaged. He's severely damaged by the traumatic events since he was 6 years old, essentially. So, in a way, you can understand it to a certain extent.
So we open up. We're in this minimal security asylum, Harrogate, and you meet Doc Foley, who is actually a good character, because with everything that's about to go on, all these body counts, he does have a good twist. I didn't see it coming, believe it or not. So the actor playing him did a pretty nice job, because obviously he ends up being a creepoid. So the character seems very sensitive for the first half of the film, actually, until we find out his really disturbing fetish.
Well, he's basically a rapist. But even Chucky says, Chucky, one of the jokes in here by Chucky, where Chucky goes, I mean, fuck, I thought I was bad. I mean, this guy's, I've got nothing on this guy.
Yeah, he makes the comment, I don't know if I should kill him or take notes.
That's right. Yeah.
But the whole opening sequence, when we were reintroduced to Nika, it reminded me a lot, and there's no way she didn't go for that. She was even playing it like the Sarah Connor sequences in Terminator 2 when she was being interviewed by her shrink, and as well as her whole mannerisms. The only difference is that Nika thinks she did kill these people. At this point in time, she does believes she is the one who killed her family members, and it wasn't Chucky.
Yes, in the previous film. Yeah.
She fucks Michael.
That's right.
That was a weird one for me. That was a weird one.
No, well, apparently, according to Fiona Dourif in interviews, apparently she got a lot of letters from people in wheelchairs after this scene, praising her and congratulating her, even though she didn't write it, obviously, but she's playing the scene. Because, yes, even though we're in wheelchairs, we like to have sex too. But yes, it is a bit sort of out of the blue.
Yeah, that's what I was more going with. I just think that's weird. You'd write somebody going, "Oh yeah, people in wheelchairs can fuck." Yeah, I was like, it's a pointless. It's
just, I don't know. It's sort of saying that even though that she's, it doesn't really add anything to the story.
That's my point. It's pointless. It's awkward. I mean, at least if you gave us some chemistry between these two first, and then these quit they're fucking in the hallway.
Yeah, I get what they're saying, that yes, people, just because their legs don't work doesn't mean they don't want to have sex.
Let's just move on from this conversation. Can we just move on?
It is random.
Because we're going to get in trouble. Let's just move on.
Right. Oh, no. I mean,
we here at Citizen Frame know everyone can have sex. Okay? Besides Trevor.
As long as it's in the right context and as long as it's in consenting adults and all that sort of thing.
Let's just move on. We're going to ruin it. We're just going to
let's move on.
Let's just move on.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I would say as well.
Oh my God, he's not moving on.
I think it's to make it even more random. Apart from the dolls and Bride having sex, I think this is the only sex scene in a Chucky film.
Who cares?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Nobody wants sex. Nobody wants sex in a Chucky film or a slide. They want killing.
Well, this is it. But anyway.
There actually is sex in the last one. You don't see it, but they have sex. Red Man and Jennifer Tilly.
Yes, I know, but it's off screen.
No, still sex.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, fair enough.
Yes, you got Claire, Madeline, Michael, Angela, Dr. Foley, and Nika. I do like these horror films when they have these. You get to know everyone and they're kind of their works and why they're there. Of course, Madeline's being probably the most darkest.
Yes, the child.
Yeah, with the child. But I do like the banter and how it works and how Claire kind of antagonizes her a bit and tells her that Chucky's coming for you, especially now that you're in a minimal security asylum.
I would say, in praise of Don Mancini, he's quite a ballsy writer and director because, I'm surprised this film didn't take a lot of flack for its portrayal of basically people with mental illness in a psych ward. But to be fair to Mancini, and this does go to some dark places with some of the characters in the ward, and there's quite dark humor there as well. But to be fair to Mancini, as a writer and director, he doesn't flinch and he makes his film.
Yeah, so fair play to him. You can say the same thing about Dream Warriors.
Yes, Dream Warriors these days.
But no, Dream, no. Well, yeah, 20. Yeah, I see your point. You do have. I do get your point.
Different time.
And Mancini, despite not liking some of his work, the guy doesn't bow down to anybody. Him and David Kirshner are going to do what they want because ever since Tom Holland left, they had restrained. But in Lafayette, there's a lot more. It seems like studio involvement. But once Mancini got full control with David Kirshner, that's where everything went balls to the wall. Not for the good, but I can understand your point that this is our film. We'll do what we want.
Exactly. Yeah. There certainly doesn't seem to be any studio interference here either. And to say that as a compliment.
Well, keep in mind, this is direct-to-video, technically. So there's not much rating systems in that kind of universe. It's not,
there will be less in the mainstream.
Yeah, so it's going to Netflix. So it's not going to have a rating system that you would have if it's going to mainstream cinema. So they can get away with a little more.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as deep as you might think it is, but it is good dialogue, and it's by far the darkest of the Chuckies until we get to the reboot.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, I do find, even well throughout, to be honest. There is something of a lack of tension and can feel a little flat, but we'll get to it as we get on.
The only thing that holds this movie together are the killings. And
Yes.
I actually like the characters, Claire, Madeline, Michael. None of them are vindictive besides the one we think is the good guy, Dr. Foley, which is, like I said, it's a nice misdirect. So
yes,
the casting and the cast and the characters that they're playing are quite. I like them, and that's important. I mean, and that's important. So when they do get it, especially, I probably get them confused. Is it Claire, the one who gets the fucking when Dr. Foley's going to juice her and she's panicking because she sees the doll, and they're saying it's because she cuts herself, but Chucky's the one who cut her. And she's saying, I'm not in other words, she's a self-mutilator. And she doesn't want to be, tortured or getting shock treatment because it wasn't her fault. And then the Chucky shows up and he puts the canister of compressed air, hits the ground, and the ceiling is glass.
Yes, well, that's also a reference to the killing of the dipshit couple in Bride of Chucky. The newly married couple. Or Tiffany.
Yeah, I don't think I think it's just coincidence. I wouldn't say it's a reference. It's much, but they're both
a reference.
But they're both beautifully shot.
Yeah,
and it's snowing. So after she's beheaded with all the glass, you see the snow. My point is, though, I'm jumping ahead there for that scene, is because each character has a vulnerability, and that vulnerability plays an act in their death, and that's dark shit. Where Dream Warriors kind of didn't really do that as well. These guys do it a lot better.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Whereas Freddy would have went for their vulnerabilities in Dream Warriors, but Chucky's pretty much doing something similar here. So yeah,
I do love when Tiffany goes to visit, and she's talking to the doc, and she's like, "Yeah, they killed Alice. Alice is dead, by the way." And then obviously, when he's got to tell Nika this, she kind of loses the plot a bit. How they say she died?
That's right.
She was an accident. It was something hard, wasn't it? Was it?
No. Well, at the very final scene, I got the impression that Alice has been put into the way Hide the Soul with Chucky. Towards the end of the previous film, we see the young girl and Chucky says, "We're going to play a game of Hide the Soul." But with the final scene where we see the Tiffany doll, it sort of suggested that Alice is inside the Tiffany doll.
No. Because we find out Chucky killed her.
Yes, but there's a reference to Hide the Soul, so it appears that Alice. I know she was. I know it's sort of stated that she was possessed for a while at least by Chucky, but it didn't really work out. I'm sort of paraphrasing here, obviously. I did get the impression at the very. Yes, no. I think there is some dialogue that sort of suggests that. But I did get the impression, and I could be wrong, that Alice is now inside the Tiffany doll. But I have only seen some of the series, and I know a lot of these plot points are tied up in the series. And, Glenn and Glenda return in the series and stuff, and there's loads more that are tied up. But I haven't seen all of the series. I have just seen some of it.
All right.
So it might be worth checking out the series for that.
Okay. But when Tiffany goes, she brings Chucky. She brings a Chucky doll because Alice wants her to have the doll.
Yes.
So now we have two dolls in this ward. We have Dr. Foley brought one for treatment purposes, and then we have the one Tiffany brought in, and then we'll have the one Andy brings when he makes the one he's torturing with the head transfers that soul into the good guy doll. How does he do that, by the way?
No. Charles Lee Ray has worked out a way. He said he was on a website called Voodoo for Dummies. Obviously, a reference to
one line fix.
No, serious. So he's worked out a way where he can basically put his soul into multiple dolls. But the only doll that's possessed at this point is the one that Tiffany brings to the hospital.
Yes, I know that.
So then that doll puts itself into the doctor's doll as well. And then later on, the one that Andy has smuggled in because he wants to smuggle a gun into the ward, the one with the gun, who ends up getting a stupid haircut. they then put Charles Lee Ray's soul into that one as well.
Okay, that's what I was getting confused, because I knew 2 were already possessed. I knew he was doing the voodoo crap. I was confused when he took the doll out. I do remember him sticking the gun in the belly, but the only reason he cuts the hair so he knows what's Chucky, because he's watching the news or reading the paper, and he sees there's a couple Chucky dolls in this asylum. So now he's got to go and deal with that. That's why he needs the gun in there, and he cuts the hair of the Chucky, so he knows it's the right Chucky to grab.
Yeah,
but by the time that comes, he's been possessed by Chucky 3 times.
The other Chuckies.
Yes, pretty stupid.
I mean, to be fair, I think it was only a matter of time before they had multiple Chuckies.
You know what they could have done here?
You know what I mean?
They could have done.
Go ahead.
Dr. Foley, as we know, the first act's quite good in the first half, or first 3 quarters, till you find out he's a scumbag. They really could have played fast and loose with who done it here. And they could have they really could have played off where Dr. Foley is actually the killer, and Chucky is just kind of wandering around tormenting people. It would have been a nice misdirect of who's killing who.
Well, certainly having the doctor behind it all, just for some sort of, for his own research or something.
Yeah.
Just to use the patients as sort of research experiments, with the Chuckies. That maybe would have worked well, and maybe you could have had, I don't know, Tiffany was sort of egging him on or something, or, he was being blackmailed or something by Tiffany or something like that. That maybe could have worked. But yeah, I mean, we do get a dark twist with him anyway, but it could very well have worked to go even darker, and he's actually behind it all.
Yeah, I think they could have done something that would have been fun. We had that with the cult. We could have got that with Curse. I mean, Curse and then cult. But
yes,
but you know what I'm saying. I mean, I understand that you kind of already had that murder mystery in the last one. You don't really, but it still works as a film. But I just think woulda, coulda, should, I guess you can say.
It sort of suggested that they're going to go down that route whenever, in the group therapy, when he takes out the Chucky doll and says, well, let's use this doll for therapy, but then they don't run with it. And it turns out it's Tiffany, essentially.
Yeah, I think they try to use the characters as red herrings, especially Madeline, the one who killed her child, suffocated it. And there's a scene where there's an open grave, which is just disturbing. I don't know why that is, but it's this open grave, and Nika makes Michael go down there to see what's going on, because she throws a Chucky doll in there.
Yes.
But she does that because she wants Michael to go down there to get the Chucky doll so he could play goodbye, blah, blah, right?
I got the impression that Chucky told her to throw him, Chucky, into the thing, so that he could possess Malcolm.
I just said that.
And yes, but
it's Michael, by the way. It's Michael.
It's Malcolm. I'm near certain it's Malcolm.
It's Michael.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Right. I think it's Malcolm.
It's Michael. Anyway, don't question me on this again, or you're fired.
We'll check that out after the court.
No, it isn't. I'm looking right at it. It's Michael.
Right. Because he has several names here. Where no, is it not that he pretends he's Michael, an American footballer or something? Is it Michael Phelps?
He's listed as he's listed as Michael in the credits.
Right, okay, but I think his real name, because he takes on multiple names like Mark Zuckerberg and stuff, because he's mentally ill.
That's right. I heard Malcolm a couple of times too, but it's Michael.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah.
But he's also referred to as multiple Malcolm, which is also a reference to multiple Migs from the Silence of the Lambs, I think. But no, my impression, whenever he then is possessed by Charles Lee Ray, whenever he jumps into the open grave, but there's a good twist later on, before his death, where it's revealed, actually, he's a dipshit and he's not really possessed at all.
Yeah,
so he's not. He only thought he was.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I knew that. That's why I said Chucky lured him there.
Yeah,
by using Madeline.
Yes, I know, but even Chucky's possession of him, it's revealed later on, wasn't real. It didn't happen. It was only in his head.
It's a misdirect.
He thought. Yeah.
Yeah, and because
exactly.
Michael is so easily manipulated with all these different names and personalities, that allows Chucky to play on that. And that's what I'm saying with how smart the film quite is. I don't think people are seeing that, to where he's using everyone's weakness or the reason they're there as an approach to get them to do what he needs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like when
ultimately
when Chucky gives her the finger.
Yeah. Yes, from the window.
Yeah, right there. She knows this is happening. This is legit. That is
and Chucky's real.
It's not like something very smart in a file she finds. It's just him simply looking up at her, smiling, and giving her the finger.
Yeah. Then she knows the Chuckster's back.
Yeah.
And she's not a killer, and she's not crazy, as she states later on during the hypnotism scene. By the way, which again, another big reference to The Exorcist, whenever she's being hypnotized, the flashing light, that's exactly the same way that Regan is hypnotized in The Exorcist.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
The film, the setting's pretty good. Everything's white.
Yes.
I would hate to be the janitor at this place. I mean, you got to work your ass off. Yeah, so this is where Alex gets confused because he sees the paper. So he starts realizing, what the fuck? And he has to get Chucky back. He's got to get the gun in there to take care of Chucky. And now the reason we finally get it's called Cult of Chucky is because, yes, he has found a way to put his soul into a group. So technically, cult.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget, there's also the original Chucky head that Andy Barclay is torturing back in his own house. The one that he...
I brought that up in the beginning.
Yeah, but I'm just reminding,
You just reminding what I just told everyone. That's cool.
No, I'm just reminding you, because I know you have a head like a sieve. But anyway.
Well, I mean, reminding me, I brought it up in the beginning.
Yeah, but I'm just reminding you, because I know what you're like.
He was torturing that Chucky head. I brought that up.
Yeah, that's the original Chucky, by the way. These ones are...
That's what I said.
Yes.
The one he shot at the end of
yes,
Curse.
I know that, but I'm just reminding you.
You don't listen to word. You didn't listen to word. You're probably looking at colors in your house right now, looking, oh, look, a butterfly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I was just keeping you right, because I know what you're like. It's probably your age as well.
Makes no sense. Why would you keep it right? It makes no sense. I planted that seed. You know what? Let's move on.
Yes.
Let's talk about Madeline breastfeeding Chucky.
Oh, you all right. You sick fuck.
So,
couldn't wait to get on there. If you're not,
there's a great line. Chucky's a boy's best friend is his mother.
Yeah, that's it.
From Psycho.
Yeah, exactly, Psycho. Yeah.
But this is where again he plays on their weaknesses. So yes, it's kind of a creepy breastfeeding. You don't really see it, but you do see a little blood on her nipple coming through coming through her gown. But this is where then Madeline smothers her like she did her baby.
Yeah, that's
really fucking creepy.
It's pretty, her backstory's pretty dark anyway, but it's actually handled very well by the actress and the way it's written. So it is. But obviously, like you're saying, Chucky is manipulating this situation, so he is for his own ends. And she actually has a pretty decent death scene as well, where Chucky basically puts his hand down her throat and, and basically pulls her insides out.
That was cool. Fucking. And she's a child killer. Fuck her.
Well, we'll not go down that route, but which is obviously a very ill...
We've gone through breastfeeding dolls to having sex in wheelchairs. Yep. Well, we're not going down
Citizen Freedom, we talk about the heavy subjects, you know what I mean? And we don't, like Don Mancini, we don't flinch away from them. So we don't. But yes, actually, some of the best scenes are actually now when we have the three Chuckies bantering with each other, And I love the one with the fucking stupid haircut. It's the best.
Yeah, and I do think it's funny how Andy gets institutionalized by just punching the cop. No,
that would never happen.
He's not getting arrested or anything. They're just going to institutionalize, which will never happen. Yeah. But
I would say as well,
the
finale is, although this stuff with the three Chuckies sort of bantering with each other is a good laugh, actually, and probably the best part of the film. I find the finale overall to be generally quite weak, especially the Andy Barclay resolution of his story. It just, Nika, possessed by Charles Lee Ray, just basically leaves him in the cell. There's no, final showdown or fight or anything. It's just generally a bit choppy and a bit sort of there's no real tension and quite flat. I find with this...
you're not going to get much tension, really, with the Chuckies. We did with the last one, which was a pleasant surprise, so I'm surprised they didn't go that route. I think the whole point with Andy Andy's lost the plot so much is that he's become so obsessed with getting to Chucky, he ends up being placed in an asylum with the very doll he brought in. So kind of ironic, I guess you can say. Ironic ending to how he gets it. I think what they were hoping for was banking on a sequel. I didn't. Now, I'm sure the TV series does play on it. I saw the first 2 seasons. I don't remember much of it. I remember most of the first season, a lot of it, but I do know they do answer a lot of questions.
Yes. Yeah.
But I haven't seen the whole series to be able to.
Andy and Kyle, as far as I'm aware from what I've seen of it, Andy and Kyle are basically Chucky bounty hunters. They go about pretend.
Yeah, they come back. They come back in a van.
Yes, and they pretend like they work for government agencies and stuff, but they're just looking to get into people's houses to kill the Chucky dolls, essentially, that are there.
Yeah. So if you guys want to learn a little more what happens to these characters, you do get to know what happens to them in the series. It's a fun series. It's actually very well done. It was up for a couple of awards, and they just canceled it because where are we going to go with this point? So, but
it ran for 3 seasons.
It's a lot more competent than the Friday 13 series where there's no Jason, and a lot more competent than Freddy's Nightmares.
I used to watch that Friday the 13th series, without Jason,
It was actually not bad, but he shouldn't have called it Friday the 13th.
Yeah, anthology series. Yeah.
So we got during the finale, you got the doc, and he's bringing out these red shoes because he chooses our girl here, so she's immobile, really.
Yes,
and he's gonna put these red pumps on her feet. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, it's sort of.
This is where.
It's sort of suggesting that he's some sort of like foot fetish as well, possibly a shoe fetish. So he but he's. I think having a shoe or foot fetish is the least of this guy's crimes. To be fair,
Yeah, I think but it takes you out though, because the movie technically isn't a comedy. It's not a regular child's play. It's a little darker toned. So when you start adding stupid quirks like that, you kind of ruin it. Where just keep him as an evil prick. Don't give him a quirk. You got your quirk.
To be fair, I don't think it's
a quirk.
Yeah, but I don't think even his quirk is done in a comedic light. I think it's more. I think it's basically just to add to the scene. You know what I mean? To add more layers to the scene. That sort of thing. But I don't think it's not done lightly. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, this is where we find out during the conversations that he did kill. He's the one who killed Alice.
Yeah.
And so Nika starts coming completely to light of what's going on, and obviously that pisses her off, but it doesn't do much because she ends up becoming.
She gets possessed.
Her dad.
Yeah, well, pretty much. Yeah, and this is actually, I believe, the first time, although it happened to Alice off screen, I think this is the first time that we've seen actually another human where Chucky actually is successful in transferring his soul to a human.
Yeah, we never do see it.
Yeah. Well, apart from here, Yeah.
You see Tiffany do it.
Yes, I know that. Yeah, that's in Seed. Yeah.
But we don't know she's successful until the end.
At the very end. Yeah.
At the very end, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. But yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It was good. It's not a bad little film. It's a lot more competent than the Seed and Bride. It's not as good as Cult, but Cult's pretty decent. I can't see them mirroring it again, so they're going to change things. The one thing I do like about Mancini and Kirshner is that they change things up a bit. They kind of said, "Well, we don't want to do a copy and paste. Let's do something a little different," and they did do that. And I do think of all the sequels, it's one of the better ones.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be. I mean, it has a lot of sort of things going for it, and some great ideas and sort of death scenes, and also, banter between the different Chuckies and stuff. But overall, it does feel a little flat in terms of direction, and, especially with the finale. The finale does feel a bit anticlimactic, but, generally, it's quite enjoyable, and it's a good continuation of the story.
A couple of years have gone past, and Universal has walked away. MGM has the rights again. MGM initially had the rights, I believe, for the original Child's Play, and then Universal took over for the second one. So MGM has them back now, and they decided to do a whole reboot, a whole remake, cut and move on. While Mancini was not happy about it, he went on to create the TV show around the same time.
Yes.
They're both come out at the same time. I know there were some legal battles where Mancini wasn't happy that they're doing a reboot while I'm trying to, continue the story.
Yes.
Could cause some confusion, but either way, Mancini should be all right because the show did quite well for the first couple of years there. But yeah, we're here with Child's Play 2019. This is a dark take on the Child's Play. They don't play for laughs. If they do, it doesn't work. I was a fan of this when I first saw it. I'm still teetering on it a bit. It's got some really good elements, good gore, great villains. People deserve it. They twist things around as we jump in to 2019. Now, this is directed by a Norwegian director, Lars Kjellberg. He did a film called Polaroid, and then he did the remake of his own movie, Polaroid. Not a bad film. He's good get to grab for this film, I guess. $10 million to make. I like low budget, and it's low budget. It shot pretty well for a low budget film with $10 million, and it made $44 million worldwide. Let's just jump into it. Chucky.
Yep.
Child's Play 2019. We got some nice cast here. We got Karen, played by Audrey Plaza, who I like. Tim Matheson plays Henry Calson. It's pretty much just a cameo.
Yes.
I actually would like to see Chris Sarandon in that part, but we didn't. We got Andy, played by Gabriel Bateman. Then we got a bunch of, Pug, Shane.
The Stranger Things gang?
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which hurts the film.
Totally.
Mike, who I liked a lot, Detective Mike. You got Doreen, his mom, and of course the voice of Chucky, which is perfect if you're not doing Brad Dourif. Mark Hamill's the perfect choice.
I disagree completely.
So,
we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll jump into that now because Trevor's ready to fight. Now, yeah, I do like it. The movie, they decide the opening up as the CEO. He's introducing the new Buddy doll. I do like how they modernized Buddy, who is no longer Good Guy doll. It's the Buddy doll. And Castle Corporation is responsible for these guys. I do like how they modernized it. If you can do a remake, it's you got to modernize it. So obviously, by today's standards, Buddy is pretty much a Lexus.
It's an up, and this whole setup is very Black Mirror-esque. Yeah,
I can definitely see that playing like a short film, or a short part of an anthology series.
Yes.
I do like that setup. I love the introduction of we go to Vietnam, and this is where the dolls are made, and it shows how these line workers are treated by their
sweatshops. Yeah,
it's sweatshops, and I like that.
Actually,
and I like the fact when this poor man got slapped, one of the technicians he decides to take one of these dolls he's working on and override everything and make it. Let it do anything it wants. This is where we get the Buddy doll.
Here's the thing.
And let me finish real quick. Let me finish, please. Then we cut away to guys talking outside the factory, and a nice little jump scare. We don't see it coming. The man commits suicide, flops on top of one of the company's vans. Now, this is pretty much the setup, real quick setup, like we got in the original with the chase scene with our boy Ray there. But this is their version. And you sold me on this version. I liked the opening sequence. Things will fall flat, but the opening sequence, you had me.
I will say that I did. The Vietnam opening sequence is definitely a strong point of this film. But here's the thing. It's suggested that whenever the guy basically messes about with this Buddy doll and basically removes all the settings, whatever he does, the safety settings, and then commits suicide, with the thunder and lightning going on in the background, it's heavily suggested that he has in some way put his soul into this Buddy doll, but it's never followed up. It's left by the wayside, and
no, it's no. You're accusing the film of something it didn't do.
It does suggest
that was not the intent. That was not the intent of this film.
It does suggest it.
You're just making up scenes that you're saying happened. That I've never heard that version.
No,
never.
I know that.
That's probably just a nod. That's probably just a nod that something's coming. And that's that's what we saw in the original Child's Play, the lightning.
Well, fair enough. But what I would say, this film definitely misses the voodoo possession angle. It's one of many things, actually, it's missing. But you know what I mean? I wanted the sort of possession, voodoo. I wanted Dr. Death shouting, you're an abomination, Chucky, all this sort of thing. And it does hurt the film by having it just basically a malfunctioning doll. An app, basically.
Well, we'll play it as we go here. She's a single mom, just like we had the original. She works in retail, just like the original. I do like the fact they make the kid older, so he's going to be a little more smarter and wiser.
He's actually the character in this, and the best acted.
Was that?
The kid who plays this 13...
Kid's very good.
Yeah, he's the best in it.
Yeah, he's very good at it, and Mike's very good. I think the mom's a dimwit.
I couldn't stand the mom.
Yeah, she was a dimwit, especially with the boyfriend.
Yes,
but you got to realize she explains she had him at a very young age when she was in high school.
Yeah.
So you kind of see that she still has that maturity level. She doesn't have that maturity level as an older mother would have.
She's still pretty fucking annoying, to say the least.
She's still annoying. Yeah, she's no Catherine Hicks.
Exactly. And the kid, while he's good, he's no Alex Vincent either. But yeah, they just don't have the same likability as the original Andy and his mother. I'm sorry, but the kid, who, as I just said, he's actually a very good actor, and I don't think I've seen him in anything before or since.
He's done some good stuff. He did Lights Out, which is a great little film. That was one of his first roles.
Yeah.
He was younger then, but no, he's had a pretty good career for himself. So he's done all right.
He does play the vulnerability of this kid.
Yeah. What I don't like, Mark Hamill, if you're going to replace by Dorf, he's the king of voices. We know him. He plays the Joker. So what hurts the film, and it's a big one, is the design of Chucky.
It's awful.
Is awful. It's not creepy. Actually, it is creepy, but not creepy like, ooh, creepy. More like, ugh.
Yeah, it's
I
terrible.
couldn't buy this. It looks like if they took a Cabbage Patch Kid and they made it plastic.
It's aesthetically a mess. And I would say as well that Mark Hamill's voice acting, and again, like you say, he's a great CV, with the Joker and stuff. I think his voice acting is very poor here. And
that's the problem. It's not his fault. And you know why? Because of the way they designed the Chucky.
Yes.
His voice is coming out of a voice box.
It's just irritating.
Or like a computer box. Yeah. So it's coming off like out of a laptop.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's going to come out. It's not going to have a stronger presence like Brad would. So that's the human element.
It's just irritating.
Of the doll.
Don't even start me about that stupid fucking song, the Buddy song. You know what I mean?
I love the Buddy song.
It's You Are My Sunshine,
buddy.
But with
I love
I Am Your Buddy or some crap like that. But
I like the
no. Mark Hamill's voice acting here is at best irritating. It's just nails up a blackboard with so much of this, including the design.
I think the problem is what they're trying to do, and I can appreciate what they're trying to do, was they were trying to make two versions of this Buddy doll, which is now he calls Chucky. Which there's the inside joke. He wants to come Han Solo, and there's Mark Hamill doing the voice. And he goes, "What, Chucky?" But anyways, it's Chucky. But what was going on was they were trying to do, and it doesn't work. They do it with the eyes. Blue eyes, he's happy. Red eyes, he's angry. Yeah. But the problem is they're going to sell it as two personas. There's the good guy, Chucky. Hey, just want to be your friend. We cool. I'm sorry. I apologize. I overstepped my boundaries. That guy. Yeah. Then you've got the one who's going to go fucking rip faces off and shit.
Yeah.
The problem is, if you're going to do that, have the nice, the creepy kind of tone Mark Hamill that you don't like, but that would work for that. And then when he does get raged, we get a violent, abrasive, Brad Dourif-esque kind of quality. But we don't. The voice doesn't change. It's the same tone, and that is a problem.
I agree completely. So too, and in the originals, we have the Chucky voice that isn't voiced by Brad Dourif. The whole "Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? Hidee ho!" And then we then jump to the sinister rage of Brad Dourif. That's all I wanted here. That's all I want from a child's play.
What they could have done.
We don't get it.
They could have brought the voice actor back who did the original Chucky.
Possibly.
He's still around.
Yeah.
No, he was the interview in the doc series.
I think it was a woman.
They could have brought him back.
Yeah.
Or anyone could have done that. Anyone could just come back and go, hey, howdy-ho, hey, buddy, or whatever. And then have Mark Hamill take over for the darker toned.
You know what the problem is with this film? They were trying to tap into the Stranger Things market, even the whole sort of with the gang of the kids who are irritating as fuck. You know, just like actually the kids from Stranger Things, so I suppose they sort of nailed it in that sort of way. But they were sort of, you know, even the fact that this film was marketed as from the makers of It, you know, which is very much in keeping with that sort of teens going on an adventure sort of film with horror elements. And I just hate that sort of crap. So do. Obviously, there's a lot of other problems here, including lack of character development, relatable characters, likable characters. But
I disagree with that. You're wrong on that, 100%. You're completely wrong. In fact, that's probably the best part of the film. I like the fact that Annie has no friends. I like the fact that the mother is working hard. She's naive because of her age. I like the fact that she's trying to get him outside the box. I like the fact that the cop, Mike, played by Mike, and go and visit his mother, Doreen, and he meets her in the hallway trying to hide from his mom, pretending he's meeting friends. I liked all that. I think you're completely wrong on how they build the characters. I do like the two friends he does make. When he start getting the gang of the Goonies, then I go, this is pissing me off now.
Yes.
But you're wrong. This has better character development than the original Child's Play does.
Well,
but the only difference is the original Child's Play was better written.
Yeah, well, this is it. It's down to the writing. Yes, there is efforts at sort of building characters and, you know, character development and stuff, but it doesn't really go anywhere. We'll just get the characters and their
Of course
traits.
it does. Of course it does.
Doesn't really.
I'm not. Yes, it does.
How?
Of course
How?
it does. All the characters that he meets intertwine, interact with this doll.
No, they interact.
Some
way.
What
are their personal journeys? No, none of them really. Apart from being like attacked by Chucky, they don't really have any sort of journey to go on a personal level. Now, I would say it's probably my age.
What journey are you looking for in a slasher film? I'm dying to hear this.
Well, fair enough, but I just found them less relatable.
Fair enough. You can't get away with that. You're dismantling the film. Okay, then you can rip on Child's Play.
Well, no, Child's Play does have.
Well, what happened to Chris Sarandon? What happened to Mike the Cop?
He went from being a complete.
What happened to Mike the Cop and Chris Sarandon?
I'll tell you if you let me finish.
I don't see a journey.
I'll tell you if you let me finish. He went from a cynical non-believer in this crap that he was being told about a doll to eventually.
So did Mike here.
I know. If you'd let me finish, I was just actually going to say.
You're trying to backpedal. You're backpedaling.
No, I'm not. Let me finish. Right, here's the thing. If you would let me finish, the character of Mike here, and it's probably my age, is actually possibly the only likable and relatable character here. Again, it could be my age, because I do like the lines where the kids are like making comments and stuff, and he goes, fucking millennials, you know, and stuff like that. So, but I just don't think he's as well written, or I have to say played, as Chris Sarandon in the original.
But you liked Andy in this.
I think he's I think the actor's good, and I do like.
I think, the
actor's good.
He finally gets a mother figure of Doreen, because we all know the mother's clueless.
Yeah, she's dipshit.
And Mike the cop takes him under his wing. Mike's investigating everything, and for all the poor bastard's niceness to what he's done for Andy, to try to help him out, to kind of hear his side of the story, his mother gets slaughtered because he's taking a blind eye to what Andy's trying to tell him. So his mother gets slaughtered by this so-called doll. Then you had Pug, the creepy, the perv. I like to call him Trevor.
he was a pantomime fucking character. I mean, even
yeah, but it just you needed it. You had the two. Yeah, and I like the fact that you played the first kind of act. He was kind of protecting Andy, so he went after the douchebag boyfriend who's cheating on his wife and kids.
To take serious as a character, because it's like it was almost right. We need a perv. So let's tick all the boxes for perv stereotypes. Overweight, sweats like a fucking pig, has the glasses. He also has the CCTV and all this here. It's like ticking all the boxes.
Oh, here's a fuck.
Yeah.
His death was brilliant.
It is quite a brutal death, and probably the best death, actually. Yeah.
I still go with the boyfriends.
That's another thing.
Shane's death was awesome when he gets fucking.
Well, he deserves it.
When he scalps
but
him.
He's a bit of a pantomime character
awesome.
as well. Pantomime asshole. There's no real nuance here.
Yeah, but they did that. They did that because the whole point was the first two major deaths are going to be these two assholes.
Yes.
So you want these two to get it, right? So when Chucky is protecting Andy, when Shane goes into his room and kind of being almost physical with him, and then you have the perv just, spying on his mother in the shower and stuff. These two deserve to get it. So they really wanted you to, so at this point you kind of,
No, I get it, but it's not very...
Let me finish. Can I finish?
I'll let you go ahead.
You rat bastard. So anyways, as we're rooting for these two guys to get it, he starts turning on Doreen, the nicest person in the whole fucking film. And that's where you're kind of taking that journey to where you're like, oh, he's just being protective at first. He doesn't know what he's doing. And then he turns when he goes after Doreen. That means he's full on. And I like that. I do like, we talk about journeys. And Chucky has one in this one. He becomes full on malfunctioned once that happens.
Well, he's possessive. He's jealous. So he is of anyone who's in any way a friend of Andy.
It's getting more aggressive. Mm-hmm. Is what I'm saying. And I do think that the first act of the first half of the film plays really well. Shane's death was awesome. Pug's death was great. Doreen's was tragic. And you see when Mike has to go see the mom. And I mean, it's a good scene. But once you get the fucking misfits of the Goonies and the toy store fiasco, it makes sense for it to end in a toy store. I just didn't.
It's the kids, like the young girl, I can't even remember her name, I don't care. She turns into Rambo, and, it's obviously a take on the Max character from Stranger Things, and the sort of the other one who's like the comic foil. I mean, it's like, it's a checklist of all these types of 80s nostalgia bait films that we've had so many of in series in recent years, and it just irritated the life out of me. And I certainly wasn't invested in any drama. In fact, I was looking at my watch, wishing it would just hurry up and end.
The film changes tone pretty quickly here. The whole fucking sequence, and it's just. I don't get what they're trying to do. When he scalps Shane and then takes his face off and puts it as a gift to Andy, and then Andy calls his friends over to look at this, and they're all going to help him hide the body. If I was those two kids, I'd be running to the police in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
flat.
like in real life, what would happen?
Yeah.
You know what the best part of this film is? The clips of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 that they watch.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. That is the reason why Chucky becomes the way he is.
The face
because
off.
They're laughing at.
Yeah.
No, because that too, but they're laughing at this, right? They're laughing at this gratuitous violence. The guy taking his face off. He sees this, so he's taking that in. So when he gives him the face, he thinks he's giving them a gift, and they'll enjoy it because they enjoyed it on the TV.
Yeah, exactly. And he's imitating Leatherface.
But no. And I do like that. It's the execution.
I agree.
With. It is the way I just explained it, people are probably like, oh, wow, that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, why can't we really kind of get that kind of? It's down to, and I hate saying it because what I saw is on written word. It's the direction.
I agree.
That's the problem.
I totally agree.
Lars is mishandling the script.
Yes. And I totally agree, especially with that, the Leatherface element. It's just very sort of generic. And then even whenever they try to do the Stranger Things thing, and I'm not a fan of Stranger Things, they don't even pull that off. And it just becomes even more irritating than Stranger Things, which is saying something,
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do here, that whole dinner sequence when he's trying to get the gift back from Doreen, that was terrible. I was like, that was supposed to be, it was like, this was bad. Yeah. You should, if you hit that head scene did happen, you throw the head away and walk away. Don't have the mom interfere. Oh, this is for Doreen. It's a gift. It was so bad.
It's contrived nonsense. So it is.
It was like,
And there's no tension here
and
as well.
Then,
but
There's no
and even
tension.
We've just talked about Cult of Chucky having a lack of tension, but at least in it, you still had quirky characters that jump off the screen. You know, Chucky himself, Brad Dourif's voice, Fiona Dourif. You know, you had all of that. Here, we don't have any of that.
But the difference between this and the Cult of Chucky, the Cult of Chucky had characters who were vulnerable and being manipulated by their vulnerability in a place where they should be being helped. And then Chucky's using that against them. That's what makes Chucky work and dark. Yeah. This was trying to go completely dark.
But they don't pull it off.
But yeah, you did the first act. You had me. And then it just kind of, and then the whole ending sequence with the mascot and blood coming out of the head, blood flying on the kid's face. They're trying to make some kind of a statement about consumerism,
trying to be
or
edgy.
Something. Black Friday. I don't know.
Yeah. You know who did this better? Did this better? This type of commentary, Eli Roth in Thanksgiving.
Eli Roth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanksgiving did a better job.
Yep. Yeah. It's just they're trying to be edgy and clever, and it's more of a mishmash of ideas that they don't really pull any of them off that I can think of. Actually, I was bored out of my skull.
I wasn't bored. I'm not going to say that. I tell people give it a watch. You might as well. There's no harm in giving it a watch. It's entertaining for what it is, but as a Chucky film, it doesn't.
Well, here's the thing. I would say,
and it doesn't work. Just like The Seed, and just like a Bride, they don't work either.
You know what would really have improved this film if it wasn't connected in any way to the Chucky franchise? If it was
wheelchair sex?
What's that? Sorry,
nothing. Forget it. Move on.
If this was in no way connected to the that's what I just caught what you said there. In no way connected to the Chucky franchise, and it was just about perhaps even another sort of generic sort of killer doll, but not connected to Chucky, because you're always going to make those comparisons with the original and the original series. And, it just comes natural if you've seen the originals. So, they wouldn't hold a candle to the original or the other ones, the series overall. So they would have been better off just leaving it. But yes, it's all about money, and they want to cash in on the Chucky franchise. To be fair, Don Mancini and Brad Dourif and all have been completely professional, and they haven't ranted about it on social media or anything. They've just kept their mouths shut and did their own story. So, this is just...
No, there was a pretty big feud.
Well, yes, I don't think it was done in public. I think it was done in the courts.
It was pretty big feud. I knew all about it. It was pretty big. It was pretty big. They were pissed off that they're stepping on their toes.
I agree with them.
But no, I believe a remake should make... I think a remake should make it its own by keeping true to the source material.
They don't pull it off.
This one's a tough one. This is a tough one when you talk about the source material. Salem's Lot does it for me. I'm a big fan, as we know about that one. I still back that one up. And Fright Night. But this one, the problem with this one, you did make it your own, so I got to give him credit for that by making it about AI and Alexa. I am cool with that. The problem is that's what hurt it. It's because you're taking away the evil of the doll. And I know that sounds silly, but I need the personality. I need the human aspect of it.
Chucky has
because the human aspect of it. It's not gonna, dude. It's a fucking robot. Let me finish. I'm trying to explain this.
Go ahead.
I was.
What? Say it.
You erase your personality. And because you take away the human aspect of it, even though I credit it for going this route, because it is the good route to go with today's world, it hurts the film because you're taking away the personality of the doll, and you're taking away the human aspect of the doll, because the human aspect of the doll makes it creepier, because the human aspect of the doll knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
And that's what makes that Chucky creepier. And I have to say, God love Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill did what he had to work with, but he's not Brad Dourif.
Not a mission.
And Jesus, even if you made the doll silent and just walking around creepy, that would have been creepier than using the voice they did.
This is I just felt overall it was completely unnecessary, and there was just no call for it. The series at this point was still going strong, So it was, it was only like 2 years prior. Actually, this would have been in production shortly after Cult of Chucky had been released. So, the series was still going strong. The original series, why? Just why? You know what I mean? Completely unnecessary. And quite frankly...
Yeah, I think that was Kirshner's and Mancini's argument. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
But it happened. It's gone. Came and went.
Yeah.
It's not bad if it was just
if it wasn't related to Chucky.
It's funny thing is, I went to the theater and I saw it. I really enjoyed it. Thought it was clever. I was like, this is pretty good. But when you do a retrospective on a series and then you're going through all of them and then you see this one, you can understand why the hatred came to that one. So I've turned my views on this one. I was going in appreciating it, liking it, but now I get, after going through this hours of Chucky, I can see where the fans are coming from.
Yeah, definitely. And, as a Chucky fan, I didn't go to see this because I feared that they would botch it. And I only watched it twice, for the podcast. And sadly, from a personal level, my fears were realized. Yeah, it was I think it's just a shameless cash-in by the studio and badly handled.
All right, with that being said, it's time to wrap her up. Now, we talked about the series here. During this one, right? This one, and with the last one with Cult. Now, the series lasted for 3 seasons. They canceled it. It's just, I guess they didn't really know where they're going to go with it. And if you like to see follow-ups, follow-ups, what happened to characters in the Child's Play movies or any horror film for that matter, I always wanted to see that. Where are they now? Kind of a look, and that's what the Child's Play series is, modernizing it with dealing with transgender and the new generation of
non-binary
and so forth. I'm trying to say something that get canceled, but you get my point. It's quite good. The lead actor in it is very good, and the animatronics are just so good. The Chucky, it just becomes. The first season I really enjoyed. Devin Swallow is always nice to see. I like him. And you have all these fun characters. But then it just goes right back to what I didn't like. If you don't like the Seed of Chucky or the Bride of Chucky, do not watch the series. Because it goes right back into that trap. And I think that's what hurt it. I do think people got sick of it. The Seed of Chucky and Bride of Chucky were experimental to me. And then they were one-offs to me. And I can see Mancini realized, I have to change direction, and he went to the Curse and then to the Cult, two polar opposite directions of what we just got with the Seed and Bride. And I think that's what he did with the series. I think the problem is you can't fix that, because of the series, there's 10 episodes. How do you tweak 3 seasons of quirkiness into something like the Cult and Curse? You can't. So I think the damage was done. People were getting sick of the quirkiness.
To be fair to Mancini as well, although in a lot of people's eyes, including yours, Bride, the direction of Bride and Seed don't work, with all the silliness and all, the introduction of Tiffany and Glenn and Glenda. While Mancini then changes and goes back to the roots of the more scarier stuff with Curse and Cult, he sort of still stays true to that storyline. It's not like he tries to erase it, because we still have Tiffany and, we still have, Jennifer Tilly and stuff. So at least he's trying to sort of balance it. Is he successful or not?
No, and he did.
Yeah.
He saved his franchise.
No, but I'm talking about
he killed it, but he also saved it.
I haven't seen all the series.
I know, but that's my point. Yeah. What I was saying was, you can save a franchise in films.
Yeah.
By rebooting and that's what he did with Curse and Cult.
Yeah.
You can't do that with the series.
Yeah.
You can't, because you've got 30 episodes already in and you're still sticking with the same basics. The audience is getting bored now. You can't really
there's a lot more
change direction.
There's a lot more hours of storytelling than an hour and a half film.
Exactly. You can't tweak 3 seasons of a series, turn it serious under one episode. Yeah. You can't. You got to tell another whole 3 series. Mm-hmm. So, and the studios weren't going to do that. But you know what? It was fun. I'd high recommend it. Anyone who's a Chucky fan. But if you're definitely a fan of the quirkiness of Bride and Seed, definitely give it a shot.
What I didn't like about it, actually, and I've only seen some episodes of the first season and other bits and pieces of it, I fucking don't like teen dramas, never have done, even when I was a teen. So it is quite teen drama-ish, like the OC or Beverly Hills 90210, but with a killer doll. But it's, there's still some likable stuff in it, what I've seen of it. So give it a shot, especially if you're a Chucky fan and haven't seen it yet.
We're going to end our Chucky retrospective. All right. So, hidee-ho.
Yeah.
It's time to go, but we're going to end with our rating. We'll make this one quick. This
go
one a little
ahead.
Longer. So,
you go.
All
right.
I'm the
All
host.
Right.
Fuck yourself.
The
fucking
best
tell
one,
me when to go, you bastard. Yeah.
Okay. In order of favorite first, I would go with the original, of course. Then Curse of Chucky. Then, this is actually quite tricky to do. I would say maybe in joint third place, Child's Play 3 and Cult of Chucky. Then Bride, then Seed, and Child's Play 2 probably last.
And then the reboot.
Oh, no. Sorry, I'm not even including the reboot. That's not even on my radar. But yeah.
Reboot should be on.
Then it's definitely last. It's way, way at the bottom. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'm going to go with the reboot.
What?
I'm going with Child's Play.
Okay.
And then Curse. Then Cult.
Okay.
Believe it or not. Because I like the darker tone it took. Then I'm going with 3, Military Camp.
Yeah.
Then I'm going 2. And then I'm going the reboot. You can put Seed and Bride in the same box. I don't care.
Right.
There you go.
I love Chucky.
Yeah, the reboot at least had competency. The reboot had some good gore. Where and it was somewhat darker. That's the only reason the reboot's beaten Seed and Bride, because they're terrible films.
Well, I think Seed and Bride are like our universe better than the new one. But anyway,
I think you're
an abomination, Chucky.
All right, guys, we're wrapping this one up. We got a special treat for you. We're going to talk the next 2 Gladiator films, 1 and 2, and then we're going to dive into a couple of Westerns. We're going to get away from horror for a bit.
For about a week, anyway.
Now, this is funny. This is funny. We were doing Gladiator 1 and 2, I promise you, but we were going to get away from horror for a bit. We got the Mission Impossible retrospective coming to finish that up, so we will be going away from horror. But when we finally have an opportunity to go see The Monkey, the follow-up film from Osgood Perkins from Longlegs, we can't turn that down. So how do we not go see The Monkey and not review it? So we would be doing The Monkey on Tuesday night. So we will have a podcast, little treat of The Monkey.
Bonus.
That'll be a final horror. Until
the week after.
until something else comes out.
Yeah.
Talk crap in June at least, because we got Megan 2.0 coming.
Right.
All right, guys, this has been fun. Cool. Thank you so much. Guys, the downloads of these Chuckies have been phenomenal. So cool. I hope we get the same amount with this one, and hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. Thank you so much. Give us a shout at citizenframe_podcast on Instagram and, of course, Facebook. We'll be chatting soon, and take care of yourself.